Someone just asked me a really good question about why the neckline decreases change based on your row gauge. Let's pretend we're knitting the smallest size of the Kiss Your Kids sweater, and the whole size, the whole round, is 80 stitches. But half of it, once we get up to the top, is 40 stitches. When we get to the neckline, we start holding the center 10, and the goal is to end up with 10 on each shoulder that are still in work, and those will be bound off to make the shoulder seam. I've drawn the neckband here, but of course it's added later. This is just to help remind you it's a neckband. So when you add these numbers up, 10 plus 10 being held, plus 10 on the shoulder, of course we have only 30, and that means we need to decrease 10. 5 of those will be on each side. The neckband begins at a distance of 1.5, neckline begins, I said band, I meant line, 1.5 inches below the final row. That's to create that curve because our front neck is lower than our back neck. And then this little size, 1.5 inches, is enough. But at 6 rows per inch, 1.5 inches is 9 rows. And here's why it is different if you're only getting 4 rows per inch, as my friend is. She's only got 6 rows to work with. So on my version, getting 6 rows per inch, we'll just say I got 6 rows per inch, I have 5 decreases to make, and I can make 1 after completing row 1 after stopping these. I'll knit a row and I'll decrease. And then I'll knit 2 rows and decrease, and I'm up to row 3. And 2 more rows and decrease, and I'm up to row 5. 2 more rows and decrease, and I'm up to row 7. And so I can get in all my decreases in my 9 rows. But if she only has 6 rows and does it every other row, even though we do save a row by decreasing that first time, if she does what I did, her shoulder will be up here by the time she's knitted 5 rows, because to get the same distance takes her fewer rows because her rows are bigger. Simple. There's nothing wrong with that. Each of us knits at a unique gauge, and each yarn knits at a somewhat unique gauge. So even if I personally take 2 yarns, both labeled number 4, on the same loom, I may get this sometimes, and something in between on other times. So in order for my friend to get a similar neckline curve to me, she's got to get her 5 decreases in within 6 rows. So that actually works out really simply. We just decrease every row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then knit 1 row straight with no decrease. One more quick note. We're attempting to make it look like a curve. Actually, of course, because of the shape of stitches, it's a series of small angles. That's a knit stitch, a column of knit stitches. There's our bottom of our neckline, and there are columns of knit stitches going up there. And before you put the neckband on, it doesn't look very tidy. I'm sure you noticed that in the video, and if you're that far, you've noticed it on your own work. But the nature of a ribbed neckband pulls it into a nice curve. The ribbing wants to pull in evenly around. So if you do a neat job attaching, however you attach it, it comes out very curved looking. on the videos, you will recall I showed 3 different ways of attaching, and every single one of them tends to pull into a nice neat curve. So I hope that's a little bit of clarity about why row gauge will affect the pace at which you have to decrease your neckline.